Okay, so I added some more plaster cloth up along here. There was some foam showing. You see my road there? I did put some tape down, and the tape pulled off some of the stuff. At least this double yellow line is pretty good all the way through, and some of this I won't have to redo the inside, but I'll have to redo this outside of the road, and it's kind of annoying. Foam was showing above here on both sides, and I had to fill that in because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting that brick retaining wall stuff up here, and I want to actually bring it all the way over the top, and it needed the plaster cloth to be there. And here's the other side of the tunnel portal area that I had to add some plaster cloth to. Like I said, there was just a little foam showing there, so what I had to do is just kind of get it so it was the same, that I could take the retaining wall I'm going to use and just go all the way over the top, so there wouldn't be any areas that up some of the rocks over here because of this waterfall section that I put in here. Because I changed the waterfall. Instead of going straight down in that section, it's going to go at more of an angle, give it more of a rapids type feel just right in here. And it's dried in there and it feels really good, but it did get some plaster on parts of the rocks. I had to touch that up. So there was things like that, but I think the adjustment on that waterfall rapid section is an awesome plus. I think it's going to make it look a lot better. Instead of having all the waterfalls just drop straight down like they do in these two tiers, this one's going to be at an angle, and then it will drop very slightly over here. So I think it's going to make it look better, especially because of this section, because I filled it in. It was very deep here, and it just didn't look right. And I've been contemplating for a couple weeks of doing this, and I've been thinking back and forth, and I decided just to do it, and it turned out. It turned out pretty good. Another thing that I plaster cloth the end of last week, the tunnel portals here had some foam. I did cut into the layout over here. I did chop into the layout, cut it out. Then there was a lot of foam showing here in parts of the tunnel portal. And the problem with foam showing, it's really hard to glue on those tunnel portals to foam and have them stay. So I put the plaster cloth on there, number one, to help glue in the tunnel portals. And number two, I'm going to have to paint a little of the concrete that I painted just inside here, because that's going to actually show when I put the portal in. So let me get the portal. This is the portal. It's going to go there. It's going to go somewhere like that. You're going to see that I don't want it to fall. So I'm going to glue it in there. And, you know, there's some space here. You can see it's going to show through. I'll fill that in with scenery. But if you look close enough, you can see inside here the white. I just want to get rid of that white. Looks silly with all that stuff there, but that's actually keeping that held in place. It's pretty dry. It's dry up here. I don't think I ever told you, but I did add some other foam up here to kind of give me a different elevation. This here was like a little over an eighth, and this here was about a fourth. So it gives me like a little slight hill. The main reason I did that is I wanted the trees up here to be a little taller. You see this whole curve because of the incline that we do have in here. There is a lip all the way, and then the lip kind of stopped up here, but because now I put this pond and this other elevation up here, that lip is the same all the way through. It's almost the same all the way up. And it kind of I kind of want to always had on this side is kind of have it so the train in certain parts were behind either a building or some trees or some landscape, so you wouldn't necessarily see it if you're looking from the other side of the layout. It would kind of be behind something. I'm going to paint the outside the brown color, and then I'm going to put some of that flex paste in the pond area and immediately paint the pond bed, I guess I call it, in that area. And I'm going to be adding the trees, and I'm going to be adding the water and some grass and some bushes and some flowering foliage and stuff like that. One of the things I want to add is I got this quite a long time ago, almost last year, from a local hobby shop. It's a field grass, And I want to use it, I'm not going to make it as long as this, obviously. I want to have like little things of grass kind of coming out, almost like cattails or something, around the pond, somewhat in the back, and with inside the pond too. I'm just going to have this stuff of the water stuff around it. So I did paint this area up, except for the river, or I guess you call it pond bed. I do have to add the flex paste to this. I probably should do that also. Just want to put the missing ballast. Area, and the flex paste is nice and dry. I did add some flex paste up here to make it look like there's a whatchamacallit. Oh, and I just dropped out what I had. I took out this fencing. I actually didn't buy it for this fencing for this area, but I have, there's 36 inches of it, and it's more than enough for what I need. But I'm thinking of putting some fence putting some right here, and then put some more up along the front. And I kind of wanted to use this gate piece, but cut the gate out and put it where that little sidewalk is at. See, I cut out the gate, and it will fit over here. Now I have to cut the fence down somewhat. So it's going to fit something like that. You can see that fence goes into the pond, so I would chop it there. I chop that half off, and then I take one of these other pieces and glue it into that section to run around the front. So I would chop part of this off, and then I would use this other piece like over here or something. And I have more than enough left over that I could actually do this entire thing here and fence that off. So I'm working on that part of that, and I did put the flex paste in, and I did add this flex paste sidewalk. Here's the thing is, I want to add another street light to the park area. I'm going to have one right here, but I want to add a double lamp post up here that's going to light up the park and some of the trees and whatnot. And looking at what's underneath from the picture I have on the iPad, right along here to about like right here, there is no support. The support is under here. So I could not put a lamp here, but I could put one right here, and then maybe a park bench right next to it. And then I was thinking even a little dock, a little fishing dock, not very big. The ones I have are huge, but I can cut them down and put like a little stocked pond where kids could go fishing. Yeah, guys and gals, we're gonna work over here. There's this area here. I gotta put a little brown paint. I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do the ballasting here, and then later I'll come and touch up this here where the plaster spilt on the road. Even though I'm gonna weather it, it's good to kind of start fresh. Hey y'all, how you guys doing? So I've been looking for, trying to figure out this back end section. This will be where the diner is, the jazz club, the hardware store, and then I had space over here. Well, I have a building there. And this is a kit that I had, Trains by Randy Brown. It's a taco stand. Now the thing is supposed to actually be almost 4 inches long. Well, I just cut the walls down and made it shorter. So I did some more work on this little taco stand. I glued in the windows. I glued in the sign. And there was always a little sidewalk piece that was always supposed to be in the front. I cut it down and I glued it back to the planter, so the planter and the sidewalk piece are together. Is the taco stand kind of painted up now? So I got a lot of it glued on. I did a lot of work here. Okay, so that's the taco stand from the front. Still got to paint the inside up. That's a little window on the side, and then I have to paint this door that's there. And I put the roof in, and I have to paint that, and it's got a little leaking, so I'm going to have to cover that up. But I'm going to put some signage on later and paint the roof, of course. And then there is also a refrigeration, or like a little vent that goes up on top there too that I have to do. This is Tacos, very faintly painted in yellow. These two things on either side of the cactus are planters. You're supposed to actually put some real foliage in there. Landscaping stuff. And then there's the patio section. That's what it's going to look like over there in that space. And there'll be enough, since it's the end of the sidewalk, the little patio with the picnic tables on it. And like I said, I want to put trash cans. And then there is going to be little planters there to put real foliage. And then there'll be enough room here for people to get their carry out at the taco stand. It looks pretty cool. Like I said, this taco stand originally, this is one of those kits by Randy Brown. It's called Pacos Tacos. It was actually supposed to be 4.5 inches long. I cut down the walls, so I think it looks pretty cool so far. I mean, I got a lot more work to do, like paint the roof. Have to add some signage. Like I said, there's a little vent thing that goes up on top there. I still have to do the door and add the lighting. I did add the brick paint all the way around this building now, and some of it is somewhat weathered, and I did paint the window trim and the window down here. Now I don't have it all painted. I still have all these windows here to do with that white trim. I only did one. After a while it really starts getting tedious and makes your hands hurt really a lot, so you got to take a little break when you have this many windows in a building. But once I get that done, I just have to put the roof on, and I do have to put the film and stuff inside for the windows and the tint film. This one will be lit up, and I do need to put the signage on. This is going to be a furniture appliance store. So this one's the barber shop / newsstand, and I don't know, something else could be upstairs. It's supposed to be some other things, but I painted a red brick, I decided, finally, and then I also did the concrete around the top and part of the roof. I still got to do the trim and the windows and the signage there. And this is one of those landmark structures. I have extra things, so there's going to be a park bench and some bicycles and a barber pole. So there's a bunch of extra little doodads on here, and like garbage cans in the alley and stuff. So got started on that. It's not really going to be a bait shop per se. It's actually going to be a hunting and fishing store. So it's more sporting goods store, the signage I have for it. And I'm going to also put advertising on the side, and this one's going to be lit up. So I started work on doing some of that. But hey guys and girls, I got another Woodland Scenic AutoScenes. It's called Willie's Warning. That's right, it's a police car with a police officer in another car, like he's pulled him over for speeding. Because I've been looking at adding a police car to my layout. I always thought it'd be kind of cool to have a police car in there, and especially one that fits my era. And then on top of that, you do get some other things here. And we get a policeman. So this is what the policeman looks like. I am not going to take them out. You know, they're tiny. Like detail on the side of it. And you do have on the top a little light. Now they do have another version of this police car that's one of those just plug light up ones where the thing is lit up, but you know, this thing could be like parked anywhere or put behind a billboard like he's gonna wait for a speeder, you know. So, oh, that's a nice looking car on top of that right there. Yeah, so look at this bonus car you get with the police car. Now you could put these together and this guy could be a speeder, or what I'm probably going to do is this guy's going to be driving around like any other car, and what I really like to do is put this guy, like I said, behind a billboard waiting for a speeder to come.